so that I do not make the mistake that you are doing other follow-ups. So as you do that, I think there's only one question that would have been asked. Otherwise, others were comments in support of the opinion. I'm sure legal would want to speak to that so that I don't just summarize it. On the three names, the prioritization, just to remind.
Chairperson,
yes.
If I may, I have expressed my view last time when we had a meeting, Chairperson. The three names, I think my advice would be to rank them, Chairperson. The reason I would say that, Chair, and for the committee is, and I would like my colleague, Mr. Chechana, to come in here, because we're going beyond what the written opinion from senior counsel is saying now. I would say the committee would be best advised to rank them so that there's no discretion for the president when he selects, when he appoints the 12 names. And that was because the president does not have a discretion, and that's said in the opinion as well. So let's not give him a discretion where he must say, which one of the three must I take? Nowhere do I have the right to pick and choose. So I would say let's rank them, those to say that they are in the rank of preference of the committee 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Techana, as I give to you, just to reaffirm the point, Honorable Kolapanat asked this question on the basis that the committee had already made that decision as it's sent to the assembly. It says in this particular order. So the question was whether then there could be a change on that or not, as you respond. Honorable Kolapanat, before I go to Mr. Techana.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. You actually just took the words out of my mouth. As I had said, we very carefully ranked everybody, and the 12 that went through were the top 12, and the next 3 were the next 12. So the list is already ranked. Perhaps that simply has to be clarified, but to the president, but it's already been done. And I just want to congratulate our legal advisor for being spot on with his advice throughout. You've been totally exonerated from various criticisms that were flying around. Thank you very much.
Mr. Techana.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, my point is simple. We will have to be guided by the wording of the resolution. Remember, Chair, the resolution has not been rescinded, and the resolution has not been withdrawn. So in other words, if the resolution ranks them, Chair, that's how it should be done. In other words, the president cannot take number 3 instead of taking number 1. So if they are ranked already, Chair, that's how the appointment should take place. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable members, having listened to yourselves, I think it's important for also the functioning of this committee, as we are still going to deal with other matters that come before the committee. You'd remember that we also had disagreements about getting a legal opinion, but finally agreed that this is the position of the subcommittee, hence we have it before us. I'm raising this point so that it's understood that the matter of the legal opinion necessarily had nothing to do with party politics. But we needed to be sure that if you have gone through a process, the integrity of that process becomes very important. And if it's the question later on that you may have engaged in an unlawful activity, that also comes to your person, as you would have been the custodian of these laws that we make as the legislature. In this case, the Broadcasting Act would have been the guiding principle and the guiding law in that regard. And this is necessitated, if you go to that letter, by 2 letters coming from Parliament, one of the 20th and the one in March. And the one of the 20th was the process we went through and the resolution of the House. And therefore, to take that resolution of the House and say you'll ignore it creates a situation where you have two matters that are before the same appointing authority. And this legal opinion clarifies the point. There's nothing unlawful about it. It reaffirms the point we have made when we're responding to this query before, that necessarily it is the president that is instructed to look at the 12 names. But necessarily Parliament, there's nothing explicit in that regard. And this has reaffirmed that. And of course, the rationality question, even though in their opinion, they also use pragmatic approach by Parliament, has been informed by history in terms of how we have gone through this process, including delays that are really beyond the control of this committee. And it would have meant that the committee has not learned anything if it does not preempt those eventualities that we thought of that may affect the process at the time where we are in. But more importantly, with the interest of stabilizing the SABC. So I think we shouldn't take that away, that confusion itself then meant that you either have 12 or you have the 15, and that there's that says, consider these three in case of any eventuality, but there's also a communication which is also on the strength of legal advice that ignore the three. And from the opinion, it's now quite clear that you can't ignore the three. That's part of the advice of Parliament. And I think we should take it along those lines. And the decision of the committee is quite clear. We affirm the legal opinion, and that as we get to the committee, it will be to agree that we write back to the Speaker and indicate that from where the committee is, it accepts the legal opinion, which therefore says that the resolution of the House still stands and that the President must be moving quicker in ensuring that there's stability in the SABC. In the context I've given, honorable members, at least some of you were there when we were engaging the entity as well as the unions and so on. Quite common was the instability that this absence of a governance structure creates. And the reality we must also deal with is that Parliament, in terms of its program, it is in the constituency period, which we must also serve and report even on these matters we're dealing with back to our constituencies in that regard. So I think we should take it, in my view, in that spirit, more than the party politics. Because if we would have accepted that the process we followed to the National Assembly was unlawful, as it would have been another opinion later on, then it can question all other processes we've tried to follow. But I think getting an affirmation that there's nothing wrong, we have followed it to the T, I think we should be happy with that outcome. So I don't want us to reopen such a discussion, and I take it that as the subcommittee, as we get to the next level of the committee, would be able to justify the recommendation we're putting before the committee, so that by end of business today, the chairperson is able to write back on your behalf that this is how the committee would have resolved. With that, honorable members, I want to thank you for availing yourselves in the busy constituency period you have. A number of you may be traveling, but please make sure that you are still present in the committee meeting, because the final recommendation is going to be taken by the committee. The meeting stays adjourned till we meet in the committee itself. We thank you, Liga. We hope to see you again there.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and honorable members.
Episode 2 of The Gold Mafia.
We love the gangster lifestyle. You live by the gun, you die by the gun.
The biggest challenge Zimbabwe now faces is the gold mafia.
Al Jazeera's investigative unit infiltrates the rival gangs that control Africa's gold.
As long as you grease the wheels in Africa, there's no issue.
Smuggling. That's what it is, smuggling.
All the paper trail is legitimate. It's not like somebody can question anything.
Former members of the gold mafia speak exclusively to the I unit.
The gold mafia is bigger than the government, bigger than any of the authorities.
What do you think is going to happen?
They kill you, don't they?
Exactly.
Undercover journalists pose as gangsters who want to launder more than $100 million.
It's black money. The funds are substantial.
The I unit obtains thousands of confidential documents that expose how organized crime groups use gold to launder money.
We sold it to a refinery and the money got paid in the bank account. So it's very clean that way.
Once it's refined, it's practically brand new gold.
A good washing machine, right?
In this episode, a money launderer corrupts South Africa's banks.
He was CEO of that company without them knowing.
The day when I left him, there was 15 million in cash in the houses, in suitcases.
And meeting President Mnangagwa comes at a price.
You guys are going to have to pay a facilitation fee to be able to do that. The facilitation fee will be $200,000.
You have the demand. Zimbabwe's got the supply. And through the route that we are looking to move down now, all the doors are open. Green light everywhere.
Undercover reporters are offered the chance to launder money by a group close to the Zimbabwean president.
And we can move quickly. We have to move quickly.
Ricky Doolan is related by marriage to the head of what we call the diplomatic mafia. He's also known as Pastor Ricky. He preaches at an evangelical church in England.
Exodus 9! 1, 2, 3, let's go!
Excuse me, sir, excuse me, ma'am.
Before they discuss business, Doolan makes sure no one is listening in.
He's the head of security, so he's going to take our phones, okay?
You want to take my phone?
Yeah, I'll just be there, man. I'll be there.
Okay.
But it's just for security
Mr. Stanley
purposes.
calls me, I need to.
Of course.
Mr. Stanley is the fictitious boss of the I Unit undercover team. He's a gangster who wants to launder hundreds of millions of dollars from China.
We want to be very clear. We are pro cash rich. It's embarrassing. It's not rich.
Good, I like embarrassing cash.
The problem is, and we want to all be clear,
absolutely,
this is black money. This is money which cannot be declared.
Okay. And right? Probably part of the region you target in Africa.
Exactly.
Johnny is posing as a black market money trader, the Hawala man, who moves money across borders.
And we need jurisdictions which are not that rigid.
That's why you need this team of people to be involved. Simple.
Ricky lists the diplomatic mafia's chain of command.
So, during this conversation, we'll not mention names. I don't think we need to. Principal. You know what my principal is. We know who the number one is.
And just to be clear, your principal is the ambassador.
Correct.
Number one is
the
president.
Yeah.
Number 1, Emmerson Mnangagwa became Zimbabwe's president in 2017. The principal, Ambassador Hubert Angel, is one of the country's most senior diplomats. He's also a self-proclaimed prophet and founder of a church.
Discover the secrets to growing in the 5 dimensions of God's power.
Ricky Doolan is part of his show.
You were born in September. September.
Angel says he is all-knowing and all-seeing.
So I went into your refrigerator. I'm seeing your refrigerator now. Inside the refrigerator to your left, there is something written grilled beef, a pack of grilled beef. And on this side there are 3 tomatoes inside the refrigerator.
I think you know Africa. As long as you grease the wheels in Africa, you grease the wheels. There's no issue. There can't be no issue. And this protection is number 1. Now the greasing of the wheels, we are going to figure that out ourselves, using this team to make sure that everybody's taken care of, everybody's happy, and things move without questions being asked. There is no way, it can never happen. How can questions be asked when these people are happy? They can't be.
Because the banks and
the police, banks, customs.
This is the executive.
Immigration.
People who are not happy are the people who are not happy.
But this is the executive. This is the executive power.
Remember when you first called me and
Yes.
told me, and I said, we need to understand our money cannot.
You don't even need to say anything else.
Miss Sin is posing as Mr. Stanley's financial advisor.
Listen, work with me on everything.
You are a point man. You're the point man.
What I'm going to do is make sure that through these people, that this person knows everything. They're bringing in this amount, they're investing in this, they're doing this, and oh, very good, very good. Okay, no problem. Meaning that probably when you arrive at the airport on that private jet, you'll have a motorcade to take you to where you need to go.
It becomes legal.
More than legal. It becomes protected on the highest level, so that you are arriving as investors, not people trying to sneak things through the border.